Well, good morning everybody. This is Bernie from Stampin', and I am back from my summer break. Being in the southern hemisphere, we've just had a beautiful summer holiday over December and into a little bit of January, and I hope wherever this finds you, you had a great holiday celebration. So I am back behind the camera now and going to be sharing some designs with you on my Friday craft time together. And I thought I would kick off this year with a card that I made for our December Colourinkspiration color competition, or color challenge. Really, it wasn't a competition. And the brief was that we needed to use black, white, gold, pale papaya and polished pink, and I literally whipped this card up without actually giving it too much thought. I just felt inspired to use this design featuring this beautiful new stamp set Amazing Silhouettes, which is now in the mini catalogue, which you can get the stamp set from. This is valid from now January until the end of June, and the sentiment I used from an old celebration set. So we're going to use I thought I would use a sentiment from The Biggest Wish, because I need to make some thank you cards for customer orders. So what I want to show you in this card today is how versatile it is to use daubers to get this sort of look. And I don't know if you can pick that up, but those little gold dots are actually embossed, and I want to show you the technique that I used to get those little flicks. And yeah, and over here I embossed with Memento Black, and then I did a clear emboss, so I want to show you that. So there's actually quite a lot in this card to create this, but it's a very striking card. So for that card you will need some black cardstock. Now I just used some scraps that I had left over for this video, so my standard 8.5 by 11, or 4 1/4, sorry, by 11 will create the same look. But with this card today I've got 4 1/4 by 8.5 for black, and my white is just a 1/4 inch smaller, and that's 4 by 4.5. So set the black to the side, and we'll be focusing on using the white, basic white cardstock for this design. So I've already mounted my clears, my rubber stamp on a clear block, and as you can see, it's a gorgeous design. There's also the tree, and there's also the butterfly, but we're going to redo this. And I've used my daubers, so I like to label them based on the color, but you can honestly do what you like with your daubers. I prefer to just stick mine to the color that I'm using. So we'll start with the pale papaya, and if you haven't used a dauber before, you just put it in your finger, which is why I love using them so much. Ink it up, and then you're just going to ink all over the stamp. Now with daubers, it really will depend on how, I don't know if that can pick it up or not, you can just sort of see it's wet. There we go, that glistened a bit, so that's wet. I'm going to set that to the side, close my ink pad, and with polished pink I am now going to come in just on the sides, not a lot, I don't want the polished pink to dominate, and just a little bit down the center, and that will be sufficient. Now bear in mind, when you do this sort of batik look, it is never ever going to look the same. As each time you do it, it's going to look different. Alright, so because this card is a little bit smaller than my last size, I'm going to bring it more into the center because I've got a sentiment, and I'm just going to press it down firmly so that it can really go into that paper. Right, and lift it up, and there you have a beautiful look. So not too different to what I did the first time. There's the first one, and there's the one I've just done. Beautiful, love it. Now the next thing we need to do is to create those little gold dots, and to do that you'll need a clear block, you'll need some Whisper White ink, pigment ink, and you will need a water brush. You just put a little bit of ink. Oops, hang on, I'm thinking of the wrong thing. That's not what I need. Hold the line, caller. Oh my gosh, I almost ruined that. No, that's not what we want. Put the Whisper White. I've been using Whisper White such a lot. We want Versamark. Versamark is what I want. Goodness, I'm glad I realized that as I said it. Right, so you just squeeze this. I'll just get that into my camera. Just squeeze that onto your clear block. And now, using your water paint brush, it depends on what size. It comes in a pack, so you can just really choose. You just drop a few drops and you mix it up. So it's quite gluggy, sort of looks like that, but you want it a little bit more watery, like that. And now you're going with another, I like to do it with another pen or another something hard. You literally are just going to tap your dots. Alright, squeeze that water painter so that you get the Versamark off it, because it's going to get sticky. You definitely don't want that hanging around on those bristles. Make sure it's nice and clean. I like to squeeze it out like that so that you've got clear water coming out, and then you can tuck that back in the lid. Alright, now I'm going to use the gold embossing powder. I like to put mine into a container just so that it keeps it in, just there. I think I've got a few more splatters on this one than what I had on the other one, so that's going to be interesting. And I've got a few lines there that I don't want, so I'm going to take those guys away. I don't want those lines across it, I just want the splatters, so just work very carefully here. You might find, just need to keep your paintbrush clean. Okay, I might just do a few more up there if there are any going. Cool. Alright, I am going to pause the video while I heat emboss this, because I don't really think you want to hear the noise, so I'll be back. Okie dokie, so I've got a few gold speckles there, so that's great. So I can now put my card onto the card base, and I'm going to use my green glue to do that. Perhaps I need to replace my green glue. Oh, delightful. Alright, let me just get a new glue. Thankfully, I do have a few on hand. It's always a good idea to have at least one or two on hand. Alright, so green glue on my card base. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, there's just a bit of powder on that. Next thing we're going to do is create that label. So for that, I've decided for today I'm actually going to use my Stamparatus. And the reason I want to use my Stamparatus is because I want to get the positioning of my ink. Sorry, there's a circle on the thing. I can't really do anything about that. I want to get the ink, the Memento Black, and I want to get the clear embossing powder absolutely in the exact same place. So when you're wanting to do, let me just lift that gently, when you are wanting to do stuff that requires precise stamping, I highly recommend getting a stamparatus. It's also very helpful for you if you struggle with your wrists to place pressure on the stamp, then this is a great way to do it. So I'm using my Memento Black, and I'm just going to, I'll just get this in, I'm just going to ink up the sentiment which says thanks. The beautiful thing about the stamparatus is also that if you don't ink it up properly the first time, you can come back and repeat it, and it doesn't smudge. So I really love that. So I'm very happy with that, thanks. So I am just going to clean that quickly, and I am now going to apply my Versamark over it. Oopsie, this is an old one and it keeps coming loose. I really should replace it. Right, and I'm going to go over exactly on the same spot, precisely on the same spot. With the when I use Versamark, I just like to really rub it to make sure it's stuck. I am now going just to move that to the side, but I am now going, you can't really see it, but it's got a bit of a shine. I am now going to put the clear embossing powder over that and going to emboss it with the heat gun. So it doesn't look like much at the moment. It's gone quite opaque, but let me come back in a couple of seconds and I'll show you what it's done. Hey, so what you can see hopefully is that it's now got a bit of a shimmer, bit of a shine. It just takes your font up to the next level. I'm going to fussy cut this with my paper snips, so just starting around and just go as close to the font as you can. I love it when the fonts are like this, when they've got lots of twirly whirlies, because it just makes for a beautiful fussy cut sentiment. Okay, voila, that's done. And I'm now going to place that over there using my dimensionals, and I just want to see, I should be able to get away with using large dimensionals. Oops, one there. That one might just poke out. Oh, I'm making a mess today of my dimensionals. So, yep, so that one's just poking out. So I just use my little scissor that's not my paper snips. I've got a glue scissor, sticky scissor, and that's going to come over there. Thanks. We've got 2 steps left now. We just need to make our bow, and I like to use the gold trim. So we're going to make a nice generous bow. Give it a tug, give it a twist. I like that one's ear to be a bit bigger. Alright. Ribbon scissors. I'm going to adhere that with a glue dot. Right on the top, like that. Just trim down the gold trim. And the last thing that we need to do to finish this card is to put some bling. So I like to store my embellishments in these stamp cases, and I keep my blings, I keep my mattes, and I keep my pearls and my rhinestones in separate ones. They come in a set of 4. The 4th one I actually use for my chamois, so that stays wet. So I'm going to use the Holiday Rhinestone Basic Jewels, and this is something else I do. I cut the back of my jewels and I just adhere it to the back so that I know what I'm using. So I'm going to use these gorgeous goldy colors, and let's pop that there. I'm going to take a nice big one, pop it over there, pop one over here, and maybe a couple there. Very good. Do I like that there? Just sort of thinking, it's a different font. Cool, I'm going to go with that. So that is showing you the beautiful, amazing silhouette card. So that was the original one, and that's the one that we've done today. I might trim that back a bit. Let's have a look. Just, yeah, that looks better. Now I just wanted to mention that this card won me, or I should stop saying won. This card was placed in the top 5 of the Colourinkspiration for December for achieve, just it got me in the top 5, so I was very chuffed about that, which is why I wanted to show you how I achieved the same look. So I hope you have enjoyed seeing those different techniques. So that's using your daubers, that's using your Versamark and a water painter and embossing to create the dots, and then using your clear embossing powder. All my projects are on my website, StampinUp.net or Stampin. Please subscribe to my Facebook page. There's lots of exciting stuff that I put on there every day. Same with my Instagram, Stampin, and you can find me on Pinterest. So I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Like the post and share. That would be most appreciated. So until I come back to you next Friday, remember, stamp, eat, sleep, repeat. Bye!